Sonny from the band P.O.D. So far it's been good. Crowds have been amazing. You know, this is our first rainy show, so yeah, I get to hang out with old friends from the main stage, and then a lot of the newer bands coming up. Just a chance to build relationships and friendships with them. So it's cool. Oh, this is a cakewalk. We started with 30 minutes and then they ended up giving us 40 minutes, so it's easy. You know, you get 7, 8 songs in there. It's like, this is easy. We show up every day, set up, play in front of a great crowd, and then we're done early. We play early enough so, you know, we get a chance to work out, go to catering, take a shower, do whatever. So this is
easy. Great.
Really easy. Same thing. I mean, I expect the crowds to just even keep getting bigger and better. And, you know, at first, like, when we got added to the bill, it was like, you know, all our friends are on the main stage, and it's like, oh, wow, we should be playing the main stage. But then it's like, you know, this is actually the fun crowd. We did one main stage gig, and I hated it because everybody's more laid back over there. Sometimes they have the VIP seats, and so everybody's kind of sitting there doing nothing. I just can't stomach it. So this is the fun crowd, and I expect it to be, you know, just as much fun here on out. Kind of band, yeah, you know what I mean, because we feed off the crowd and the energy and, you know, the interaction of every single person that comes here. So we're never a band that entertains. Like, I'm not an entertainer. Like, I play music and people just actually happen to come and hang out with us, but it's like, I need you to be involved or I just don't want to do it. Even then, because even, you know, we took like almost 5 years off, so we understand that we have to take a step back because we haven't been consistent, even though we've been around 20 years. But even Rock on the Range was the same thing. It was like, they put us on the 3rd stage, like that's
what we were thinking. We thought that we were.
But then we kind of just take it as, you know what, it's cool. We're working our way back up, and we knew that taking time off would do that. It's kind of like rock and roll suicide, but it's like, but we came back to this industry on our own terms. Like, write the record we want, we play the shows we want, and so when they put us on there, we're like, that's cool. We're just gonna destroy it. And then we found out it was the most people that ever came to that side stage. So we're like, you know what? That's how we want to do it. So when we're done off this stage, the stage is murdered. It's over. It's done. And then the next year, I think we're the only band that was ever asked back 2 years in a row. So then they put us on the second stage this year, and then killed that. And now dude's saying, I think we're going to bring you on the main stage. You know what? It's a good time, and the crowd is great. And again, I haven't been on the main stage, so I just hope if they do put us there, that the crowd is, you know, willing to have some fun. I mean, the shows are great. You know, last night we had a little barbecue, and we didn't expect that many people to show up, but we just started grilling out, and then, you know, all the bands started coming through and hanging out. And for some of these bands, this is, I think, their last show today. So you really do build a friendship, you know what I mean? So it's kind of a sweet sorrow, sadness type thing, you know, watching these bands play for the last time and then hanging out. But last night was just a good get together. We broke bread, everybody laughed and talked, and that's the moments that I enjoy. It's killer. We do the Best Buy, and then sometimes, pretty much every day, Jägermeister has us come over there too and do a signing for them. So that's, you know what, we've always been about that. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's hard to interact, especially it's such a big production, hanging around. But we're, as much as we can, we're walking through, going back and forth, and as much as we can get with people, hang out with people. And I mean, I've always been humbled by autographs. You know what I mean? It's like I stand around and I want to give my autograph. It's a humbling thing. But when, you know, people come out and they're just like, dude, I love your record and the band means so much, it just has to pay off. You know, we had a long time to think about it. You know, like I said earlier, we came back on our own terms, you know, to write the record that we wanted to, and pretty much had the songs together, and, you know, been sitting on a lot of ideas, and working with Howard Benson again was easy. It's just, we've made great records with him, and so we just show him our music, and then kind of you know, thinks it over and just says, get in the studio, okay, do this, and we'll make little changes here and there, add stuff, take away stuff. And it really was probably the smoothest process ever, you know. Before they, you know, you'd sit in a studio 3 or 4 months just burning a recording budget, where now it's like we just went in there and just totally just banged it out quick. So it was good. You know what? I mean, there's elements of everything that we love. You know, from heavy to punk rock, reggae music. There's funk in there. There's, you know, the hip hop side of us, and I think we've done that in all our records. You know, but I think in trying to keep up with the success of satellite and, you know, having too many people in your ear, you're always sometimes you veer away from just writing music you want to. I'm proud of all our records, but at the same time, you know, I think even subconsciously you're trying to keep up with what's out there, or what does radio want to play, what's going to sell records. And so in taking a break, I think we just flushed all of that out, and so now we can go in and just write the songs that we know we're gonna love to play. I can honestly say there's songs on a lot of our past records that I would never want to play live. It just, you know, I don't know, just seems like we just did it to do it, to put it on the record. Whereas this album, like every single song, like we're gonna play live. I mean, again, if you listen to all our records, it's like it's never just one song all the way through. Everything sounds the same. It's like we can play with the heaviest of crowds, and then we can go open up for, you know, Justin Bieber if we wanted to. You know what I mean? Like, because we have mellow stuff, or not necessarily mellow, but more lighthearted rock and roll. But you know, Lost and Forever was a song that we thought might fit well on radio, but Murder Love was a song that we were like, that's how we really want to come off, just heavy and crazy. And then obviously Higher is more of a good feeling type of song, reminds me of Alive. But you know, we get the treatments for the, you know, direction of the video, and then we tweak it, and that's it. Just want it to be fun. Lost and Forever and Higher is actually the 2 singles, but Murder Love is just internet content, you know, yeah. Fun stuff. Response has been great, you know what I mean? It seems like a lot of new fans coming out. You know, we've been around 20 years, so we've hit generations. We see old fans that we, you know, used to sleep on their couches back in the day, and then now they all have kids just as, you know, we all have. And so it's good to see them out there. And I mean, it's a rock crowd. They want to have fun. They need to be, you know, told a little bit to loosen up and have some fun, you know. But we come from that old school, you know, time in music when there was no stage. It was just like you just play, and the crowd plays too, and you go off. And so they're reacting pretty well. We get them going. You know what? We're lucky. You know what I mean? We come from the old school where there was real fans. I'm a fan. You know, bands, I'm still a fan. I still buy their music. I still go and support them and see their shows. I buy their T-shirts. I wear them. You know, I check out what they're doing online. You know what I mean? Like I'm a fan. And we were in it when these kids were coming out. It wasn't, you know, the internet and all that stuff. It's like you had to follow up. You had to dig in the crates for this music, and you know, you travel hours in an underground show, and there's only 20 people there. You know, and like we come from that school, so you know, they still come out. And you know, I mean, obviously you have a song on radio, and it helps too, even nowadays, where some people that maybe some of these kids were little when satellite was big, you know, and so we've stretched out 20 years. So again, I think we're just lucky, you know, and taking that time away. You know, again, like I said, some people say that's rock and roll suicide, but I think for us, just peace of mind, get away from like just the craziness of the business, and then we're able to just come 4 brothers again and just play the music we want and have fun doing it, because we've always said, like, once it stops being fun, then I don't want to do it anymore. You know, we've never had any expectations, which is where I think we're at now. I think we're content with just the music that we make, and if there's people out there listening, you know, we started, you know, in the streets of San Diego, just making music out of our garage and playing underground shows, never thinking we'd ever get out of San Diego. And then opportunities just kept presenting itself, and we just kept doing it. We did stuff independently, and then when we couldn't do anything independent anymore, we signed to a major, and then it's the rock and roll story, But I think, being here 20 years later, at least for me, I can sit back, and especially after taking that time off, just get my own priorities straight. And for me, I'm a husband and a daddy first, and I'm blessed to be a part of this music, but it doesn't define me as a person. That's not what I want to be known as a singer for P.O.D. It's I want to raise good kids, and I want to have a long-lasting marriage that is unheard of in this business, and just in the world in general today, and be a good person and walk with God and help my community and just love people that I'm surrounded by. And so I hope that this music does that. A lot of cool shows opening up, and we do that Shiprocked, that cruise to the Bahamas with Godsmack, Horn, a bunch of cool bands at this moment. And I'm sure we'll be doing some international stuff. So I think with the way things are going now with this record, it looks like we'll be pretty much touring the next 18 months, off and on. It's been an open book. I'm a believer. I hate to say, I'm a Christian, but there's so many definitions of Christianity, and that's the part that I struggle with being out here, because people, I understand why people have a problem with it. They have a problem with religion, but when I read the Gospels and I read the Scripture, there's so much stuff. There's so much meat in the Bible. And then at the end, Jesus just knowing our own humanity and knowing, that we struggle and that we are made of flesh and that we do make mistakes. When Jesus, in the Last Supper, and he broke bread with the disciples, it's almost like he said, hey, you see me do all these miracles and you see me love, and just, there's so much stuff, but I know that's a lot to take in, but if you can remember these two things. And Jesus said, you love God with all your heart, mind, and soul. And then you love your brother like you love yourself. It's just as important. It's if we can live by those two things, then I don't think we'd have these wars. I don't think, we wouldn't have homeless and sick people because we'd be taking care of them. We wouldn't have all these religious conflicts because our hearts and our minds would be focused solely on God and taking care of our brother around us. And so if you can do that, I think you'll walk in peace. You'll walk in the presence of God, and all the worldly distractions around you will just become so small.
The day that they murdered